Shadow football. This was probably the best game of this WSL season. Amidst the hype of the title race between Chelsea and Manchester City, Matt Beard has quietly been building a very special team with Liverpool that no one seems to talk about. By contrast, Chelsea in 2024 have found ways to win whilst playing poorly by their standards. But this was their worst performance so far this year in my opinion. So how did Matt Beard's Liverpool produce this stunning victory? What can Chelsea do to rebuild for the next season? And how should Liverpool build on this impressive team for the next campaign? It doesn't take a genius to figure out that Chelsea's inability to deal with set pieces was what caused this result. And if Liverpool hadn't let Megan Campbell go before the season started, I bet they would have scored a fair few more goals here. But Liverpool outplayed Chelsea in every facet of the game. Chelsea lined up in the usual 4-2-3-1, whilst Liverpool went for a 5-3-2 shape. Matt Beard's teams tend to be energetic, physical, and aggressive, and his side definitely showed that during this game. Liverpool didn't press high, rather pressing the first, second, and third options aggressively, pressing each player as they receive the ball as well as cutting out the passing options available to them. Niamh Charles is on the ball here and Enderby chases her down. She passes to Beaver Jones, who is facing towards her own goal. Koivisto is pressing England's future number 9. Nagano is marking superfan Kirby. Herbinger is on Cuthbert, and Enderby is cutting off the passing lane to Lauren Hemp's best friend, Niamh Charles.
Me and my best friend. What are you doing?
Beaver Jones' best option is to pass it all the way back to Millie Bright, but Koivisto's continued pressure causes her to lose the ball. It didn't matter where the Chelsea players were. In their own half or right outside their own goal, Liverpool went after them. I went over in depth about how Liverpool defend and attack in their game against Manchester United earlier this season, so if you want a detailed analysis, go check out that video. But very quickly, if Chelsea are in their half, since Liverpool have 3 centre-backs, one of them will often shoot out of line and defend as a holding midfielder. This then allows the 3 central midfielders to push up even higher and congest the midfield, defending in a 4-1-3-2 shape. When Chelsea are building up in the middle third or attacking Liverpool's defensive third, Liverpool will retreat to their usual 5-3-2 formation. The aggressive nature of Liverpool's press meant that Chelsea never really got going. The midfield trio of Nagano, Holland and Herbinger took the anthem of "You'll never walk alone" literally, and kept the defensive pressure on all game in a cohesive unit. Chelsea were often outnumbered in the middle of the park due to their 2-woman midfield. Chelsea's best attribute, in my opinion, is their ability to win the ball back immediately after they lose it, but Liverpool turned that into a disadvantage for them this game. The midfield combination of Cuthbert and Nuskin meant that Nuskin would be playing further forward and Cuthbert would be playing as the holding midfielder. Normally she would be the box-to-box midfielder and be given the freedom to go and press like the Duracell bunny on crystal meth. But since Cuthbert is the holding midfielder, no one is there to protect the back four if she goes and presses. Hang on, I feel like I've said these words before somewhere. Oh, where was it? What video was it? Oh yeah, that's right. This was the midfield combination when Arsenal destroyed them 4-1 earlier this season. Beaver Jones loses the ball here with 5 Liverpool players around her, and Cuthbert is on hand to press Herbinger. There's a huge gap left behind where a natural holding midfielder should be, and all Herbinger needs to do is turn and play a simple ball to carry Holland, and Liverpool have just gone straight through their midfield. This would have been a decent chance for Sophie Roman-Haug had Enderby not wandered offside. The first half was filled with a lot of nearly moments for Liverpool. Whenever they had the chance to break forward, it was always a sloppy pass or just a general lack of quality for them to fashion a good goal-scoring chance. Chelsea, on the other hand, started well and were on the front foot before Liverpool got into the game. They moved the ball well and created a few chances in the first 10 or so minutes. Kat Macario was very lively and wins a corner off Grace Fisk. From the corner, Beaver Jones was completely unmarked to begin with. Haug is watching for a fizzed ball into the front post. Bonner is covering the edge of the 6-yard box, which leaves Jenna Clark's position slightly useless since Bonner can easily get there, and Fisk is heading there as well. Hopefully this diagram can explain it a bit better. Clark would have been much better off standing in between Micah and Beaver Jones to mark her. Macario swings a great ball in, and Beaver Jones heads Chelsea in front with relative ease since she had no one marking her. From then on, Liverpool grew into the game, and Chelsea didn't know how to compose themselves to play through Liverpool's intense pressure. So they spent the rest of the game playing horrible passes like this one, and 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 this one. Chelsea's midfield wasn't the only area Liverpool targeted. The other aspect they targeted was their fullbacks. Knowing that Chelsea like to bring the fullbacks up high and wide when they attack, that often leaves a lot of space behind them if a team can win the ball and break forward. Ashley Lawrence's positioning is weaker out of the two Chelsea fullbacks, and Liverpool constantly targeted the space behind her the whole game. This is where the 5-3-2 system comes in. Nagano receives the ball from Micah and is allowed to turn freely. Holland is given a free role on the left side of midfield and has the license to roam, whilst Taylor Hines can go forward knowing she has Grace Fisk behind her able to cover. This then creates a 2-on-1 situation if Johanna Rittinkanerud doesn't come back and defend. The width of Taylor Hines and Kerry Holland's movement means Lawrence doesn't know whether she should press Hines or Holland. Now, 14th century philosopher John Buridan came up with a paradox called Buridan's donkey, where he posits a hypothetical situation where a donkey that is equally hungry and thirsty is placed precisely in the middle of a stack of hay and a pail of water. The paradox assumes the donkey will go to whichever one is closer, but since it's been placed precisely in the middle, it will die of hunger and thirst because it can't make a decision on whether to go for the hay or the water. So Ashley Lawrence here becomes Buridan's right back, and Holland drifts past her and into the space Lawrence left behind. This ultimately comes to nothing, but this is a sign of intent from Liverpool. In the second half, Liverpool kept targeting the space behind Lawrence as Holland kept drifting in behind. Enderby and Nuskin both produce sloppy passes, and Herbinger produces a great ball that sets Holland off in behind the space that Lawrence should be covering. Carter concedes the corner, and from there, Liverpool strike back through Sophie Roman-Haug. Marie Herbinger sends a delicious ball into the box, and sometimes it really puzzles me how teams pick who should mark which player during a set piece. And for this goal, I don't understand why Aggie Beaver-Jones was the one marking Liverpool's best attacking aerial threat. Surely you'd have one of the centre-backs mark the opposition centre-forward here. Ashley Lawrence's front post role could have easily been filled in by Beaver-Jones, which would then free up a defender to mark Liverpool's biggest attacking threat. Sophie Roman-Haug sidesteps Beaver-Jones with extreme ease here and heads in the equaliser. Liverpool defended heroically throughout the game. They committed numbers in their own box to create the Great Wall of Merseyside and barely allowed a clean shot from Chelsea. Jenna Clark putting her body on the line here to block Macario's shot. Bonner moves up into the defensive midfield position as she so often does and plays a great ball to Enderby, who is in the space left behind by, you guessed it, Ashley Lawrence. Buridan's Lawrence was occupied by Nagano here as well, and thus left Enderby completely free. Liverpool now up the pitch fairly easily, and due to the excessive amount of replays, we don't actually get to see what happened, but Liverpool have a corner. Sophie Roman-Haug is again unmarked as the ball comes in, but she isn't the only aerial threat Liverpool have. Gemma Bonner was marked fairly well by Niamh Charles, but Herbinger's fantastic ball with pace, coupled with Bonner's superiority in the air, gave Liverpool a 2-1 lead. This was one of those where Charles did well, but Bonner did better kind of goal. Chelsea then created a couple of good chances, but Liverpool's Merseyside wall stood firm. Niamh Charles is taking more risks on the left-hand side and sends a couple of good balls into the box. But Gemma Bonner and her defenders were equal to the task. With Chelsea now pushing forward in search of goals, the game became more open and both sides had possession in the attacking third. Jenna Clark heads a poor Macario ball away, and Bonner makes her only mistake of the game by giving the ball straight to Cuthbert, who read the pass well. Wrighton slides a great ball in for Charles as Daniels is caught flat-footed. Tegan Micah didn't need to come out for this ball, and all of the Liverpool defenders were facing the wrong way. None of them knew where Beaver-Jones was, who saw where the Liverpool defenders were facing and decided to stay put. Charles chips the ball past Micah, and future England number 9 Beaver-Jones finishes off a good move to draw level. This was an unfortunate goal for Liverpool to concede, since this could have been entirely avoided if Bonner didn't rush her pass. After the restart, since Liverpool have been passing through Chelsea's midfield to attack, Kerry Holland just said, "Screw that, I'll do it myself." She turns Cuthbert easily and drives up the pitch, and produces the pass of the game for me. A pinpoint through ball for Leanne Kiernan off her wrong foot, and Kiernan puts Liverpool back ahead with a cool finish. If we look at it again from this angle, this is Matt Beard's 5-3-2 system coming into effect again. Carter and Bjorn are both watching SRH, but Carter is slightly too far from her. If Carter tucked in a bit, Bjorn would then be able to slide out closer to Kiernan and double up on her with Charles. Bearden's left back here has 3 players to watch. An actual striker, a striker who's playing right wing back, and a midfielder who can strike the ball as good as any striker. This is basically Bearden's donkey on steroids at this point, since Charles has 3 players to watch and thus offers no defensive help to this situation. Kiernan gets in behind Bjorn easily and puts the ball past Hampton. From that, Natalie Bjorn plays a great ball in behind for Hamano, and here, Bearden's midfielder emerges because Nagano can't decide whether to press Perisset or track Cuthbert's run. Fisk doesn't clock that Cuthbert is in space and thus couldn't get to her in time. If Fisk saw Cuthbert's run earlier, she would have been roughly in this position to close down Cuthbert. This was pretty much her only mistake this game, as Cuthbert takes the ball around Fisk, who dives in, and like 2019, the red wall has fallen to the blue wall? Blue people? Well, they're not actually blue. It's like the color blue that represents the people, since Chelsea wear blue and it's like politics, and like blue represents the... You know what I mean. Macario's shot is blocked by Daniels, but the ball bounces off Micah and goes in for an unfortunate own goal. Or fortunate if you're Chelsea. Liverpool retreated back and defended like their lives depended on it from Leanne Kiernan's goal onwards. Missy Bo Kearns showing some nice touches to bring the ball out from deep and looking for any opportunity to snatch the win. Hannah Hampton's distribution all game has been quite poor, and this one just went straight to Yana Daniels. Kiernan then drives through and wins a corner off Jess Carter. This is the opportunity Liverpool wanted, and they knew they most likely wouldn't get another one since Chelsea were really piling on the pressure. Herminger takes the corner, and Gemma Bonner heads home to send Prenton Park into raptures. Now let's take a look from this angle. Charles was initially marking Bonner, but Bonner drifts away from the goal, separating herself from Charles and creating a yard of space for herself. Charles then thinks Sophie Ingle will mark Bonner since she's closer, but Ingle has no idea that Bonner is there. Ingle's job is to defend the front edge of the 6-yard box, and by the time the corner is whipped in, Charles has completely lost Bonner and is too far away, and Ingle still doesn't know Bonner is behind her. Charles tries to intercept the ball but misses it, and Bonner loops a free header past Hannah Hampton. As the ball comes in, Hannah Hampton also takes 2 steps towards the ball, possibly thinking she can punch it, but ends up setting herself too close to her near post. Had she stayed in the center, she would have had more of a chance to save it. But let's not take anything away from Gemma Bonner, who had a fantastic game and fully deserved her 2 goals she scored. Throughout the whole game, Chelsea lacked patience, decisiveness, and quality. Too many passes taken with the wrong decision, and too many passes executed with poor quality. Set pieces aside, Niamh Charles was, in my opinion, Chelsea's best player on the pitch, constantly driving down the left-hand side and trying to create opportunities for her teammates. Beaver Jones might have scored twice, but her overall play left a lot to be desired. However, she's only 20 years old and will improve massively. If she can cut out silly offsides like this and pick her head up when she's dribbling instead of putting her head down and dribbling into blind alleys, then she'll become a very, very dangerous player. Players like Gemma Bonner, Leanne Kiernan, Marie Herminger, and Kerry Holland might get all the plaudits for Liverpool this game. Similarly, Jenna Clark and Grace Fisk hardly put a foot wrong this game. Liverpool performed really well, and the goals they conceded could have easily been avoided and are quick fixes. But the player I want to highlight is Sophie Roman Haug, who quietly had an excellent game. Chelsea did not know how to handle her aerial presence, and her link-up play with her teammates was exquisite. She constantly flicked the ball on and knocked the ball down to her teammates, and was a massive threat that Chelsea couldn't handle. She did not stop chasing down Chelsea defenders for the whole game and put in a massive shift defending from the front for her team. She took her goal really well, and she's such a key part of Matt Beard's side. An absolute joy to watch and gave a masterclass on good centre-forward play this game. The title looks to be Manchester City's to lose now, with Emma Hayes conceding that fact as well.
I don't think the title will be heading to us this year.
Love her or hate her, you can't deny she's done a remarkable job with Chelsea during her 12 years there. This isn't the send-off Chelsea players and fans would have wanted for her, but Emma Hayes has provided Chelsea fans with 15 trophies to celebrate.
It's not f***ing over.
And I can't wait to see her hopefully turn the US women's national team back into a footballing superpower. As for Matt Beard and his Liverpool side, they'll be looking to push for 4th place in the table. But beyond this season, Consistency will be the name of the game as he hopes to bring their recent form of one loss in their last 8 games to start the next season. His Liverpool side are a joy to watch due to their tactics and their never say die attitude. And I'm extremely excited to see just how far he can take this team.